Welcome. In an earlier video, I made a comment on if you needed to have a shoulder replacement surgery, not to put it off. There ain't no need living in pain. And I still feel that same way. Because once I get healed up, I'll be good to go. So I wouldn't put it off, just live in pain. Now this video is about 9 rough days I had just recently. And a setback in my shoulder surgery here. It's going to slow my healing down just a little bit, but we're on track again. So I had 2 more surgeries. Got to put sleep 3 more times. And it just snowballed out of control. So let's get into it. Now this all started on Tuesday 13th. I woke up that morning, felt like $1 million. Shoulder felt good and everything. But I had to go to therapy first day. So I get there at therapy, start doing the exercises, which they was easy for me to do. But I got to popping across my clavicle here, the backside of my collar, or my shoulder blade. I told that therapist I was popping in through here, down my clavicle, and then back there. He told me, he said, well, just keep doing them. He said, no, I'll check you out here a minute. Well, that minute never came along. Next thing you know, I was done therapy. And so I get out there, and Mama drove me down there, so I went there and got cars hurt, and I told her then, I said, I think he hurt me again. Because they hurt me on this shoulder once before. And anyhow, didn't think that much about it. So we go on about our business in town there, and then I come home and take a nap. Well, now I woke up from that nap, I was in pain. Never felt this pain before, even after my surgery. So I knew something was wrong. So I walk in down there in the surgeon's office, and this is on the 14th, Wednesday. Told him I need to see him. I was hurting like I hadn't never hurt before, and I needed to see him. So they got me in there pretty fast, and talked to him and everything. He took x-rays. After the x-rays, he come back into the room there and told me everything looked pretty good, he said, unless you got a fracture. He said, you'd know it if you did. I said, well, I never felt this pain before, and everything, and he offered me some pain pills, and I told him, no, I'll do without. I thought I'd be all right without them. Big mistake. So that pretty much brings us to the 15th. Well, I got in so much pain, I told him I was going to have to go to the emergency room. So I went down there and sat, and told the old boy then, and this is the first day of the 9 days of hell right here. So I go down there and tell him, I said, I can't move my arm. I said, I think it's out of socket. Well, they took x-rays again. Said everything looked good. And said my muscles were so tight and everything. He's going to treat me, give me some muscle relaxers or something, and send me on home, And when I seen the surgeon, he said I was awful tight and everything, and the therapist said the same thing. It's the only thing everybody had in common was my muscles drawed up real tight and everything. So that's one thing everybody agreed on. So I wound up coming back home. I took that medicine they gave me. Didn't help nothing at all. So that Friday, I just sat around here in the recliner taking it easy. Still couldn't hardly move my arm. I knew something wasn't right because I couldn't move it by an inch either direction. So wasn't nothing I could do, just sit here, wait it out, And when come Saturday, which was on the 17th, I wound up back down at the emergency room. And this time I knew for sure it was out of place. It's because I could stick my finger down in that socket right there. And I couldn't move my arm, like I say, any direction more than an inch. So go back down there in the emergency room. They took more x-rays. Come back and said, my shoulder's out of socket. I said, well, I thought it was. but it had been out of socket for a couple of days at that point. So he asked me, he said, "You think you can take the pain if I try to put it back in socket?" I said, "I'll try, do the best I can." Well, I thought he'd numb it or something. Heck no, he just grabbed it, started folding it over backwards like this right here. And I was laying flat on my back, and he went curling me up off the table, off the bed. And I asked him, I said, "How much further you think you gotta go?" He said, "Oh, we ain't even getting close yet." He said, "Your muscles are awful tight." I said, "Yeah, I keep hearing that." Well, I told him, I said, "I ain't gonna be able to take it no more." I said, "If it's not close to where you're at," I said, "you're moving me off the bed now." They sedated me, which basically put me to sleep. I don't remember nothing. My mom was back there with me. She said he tugged and pulled on it, and everything. And well, and I woke up. He said, "Well, I think we got you back in place." I told him, "Man," I said, "it ain't back in socket." I said, "I can feel it." I said, "I can't move my arm an inch either direction still." I said, "You can feel right here." I said, "It ain't in place." He said, "Well, it looks good on the x-rays." So I left there, still out of socket. So I had sat here all day Sunday with my shoulder out of socket. Wasn't a thing in the world I could do. The surgeon's office didn't open up until Monday. So come Monday morning, we're back down to the surgeon's office. So we get back down to the surgeon's office, and I'm pretty much still in some pain now. And get there and tell them what's going on. Well, the guy, the surgeon, my surgeon, he was down there in surgery then, just down below the office there. So they took me back, took x-rays again. Of course, it is out of socket, like I'd been saying for two days or three. After taking them x-rays, they sent them down to him, and he told him, bring me on down there. He's going to have to do, I guess, emergency surgery on it. I had a fracture on the back of my shoulder blade. So I'll go down there, get put to sleep again. I wake up that time, I'm patched back, shoulder back in socket, felt real good. But he wanted me to stay in the hospital this time instead of come home. So I had to stay the night down there. They put me in a bed that literally broke my tailbone. That'd been almost 3 weeks ago, and it's still hurting. Now, if I asked that nurse, I said, "What's the odds of me getting in that recliner over and getting out of this bed?" She said, "Pretty good." I said, "By God, I need out of this bed." I said, "This thing's going to cripple me." That's the worst part of the whole deal, was that bed. So I got over that recliner and everything, and it helped my tailbone a lot. So that was on Tuesday, the 20th. And they was wanting to keep me in the hospital for another night or so. And I talked them out of it, and I said, "I can't spend their night in this torture chamber." So they went ahead and going to release me. Mama come back up there to pick me up, and she'd been up there for a little bit with me. And we were sitting there watching TV or whatever, and I was reached up there to grab a mug of water, hospital mug, took a sip. When I took that sip, I felt this shoulder roll out of socket again. I just sat there, I froze. I thought, no, there ain't no way. So I set the mug back down, and how it feeling. I grabbed it, tried to push it back just a little bit, hoping it'd pop back in place. I probably sat there a minute or so. I said, "Mama," she said, "What?" I said, "You ain't gonna believe this." She said, "What is it?" I said, "That dang thing rolled out of place." She said, "You was sitting there?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I grabbed that mug of water and it rolled out." She said, "No." I said, "Yeah, come over and feel it. You can feel where that big hole was, or dip." I like had a heart attack. So I just knew then they wouldn't let me go home. Well, Sure the world they won't keep me there to Thursday. So he operate on me again. Well, I couldn't stand the thought of spending another night in that torture chamber. So I just kept a bickering with them. They finally just sent me on home. Best decision I ever made because I was wore out. I come home, even though my shoulder's out of socket, at least I get comfortable enough to sleep. And hell, they come here and wake you up every 5 minutes, seems like, if you do fall asleep up there needing blood or something. So I left the hospital with my shoulder out of socket again. And on the 21st, which was on a Wednesday, I had to sit here all day with it out of socket again. So I had to be down there to do surgery again on Thursday morning. And we got there, I think, 10:45 or so. And it was about 12 o'clock before he took me back surgery. And of course, they put me to sleep again. I wound up being put to sleep 3 times in a week, I guess. I ain't felt right since. Feel a little loony ever since. They take me back there this time. Of course, I slept good, I guess. Had to make a new incision here. And you put a bigger arm piece down in my arm bone with a bigger socket joint. And you put a thicker spacer between it and the cup, between the ball and the cup on that joint, to make it tighter where it can't pop back out again. So when I left there, they pretty much put me on home arrest. Wasn't allowed out of the house hardly to do much of nothing unless I just had to. I couldn't get in the mood to make a video, so I'm gonna try to get started going here now, I guess. See what all I can come up with. Lemon still can't go fishing, so. And we've had some good fishing weather. It's sad. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Out of my 9 days of hell, I wound up with my shoulder was out of place for 7 days. I had to go through misery, him trying to pop that thing back in place. I was put to sleep 3 times and had 2 more surgeries. Now I'm healing up, everything's looking good. So. And they put 2 more plates in my shoulder blade back there with a handful of screws. But it's all looking good now, healing up. I'll be back fishing before you know it. Can somebody please go catch me a fish? Thanks for tuning in, folks.